Okay, let's just get this out of the way. The AI revolution isn't coming, it's here. And it's unfolding at a speed that makes the internet and mobile eras look like they were standing still. So, in this incredibly chaotic new world, we're going to try and find the one thing everyone is desperately looking for: a clear strategy for victory. Right now, the AI industry doesn't really feel like a market, does it? It feels much more like a battlefield. I mean, every single day you see new alliances forming, new weapons, these incredible new models and technologies being unveiled. And the fog of war is so thick, it's almost impossible to see what's coming next. And all this chaos forces every single player, from the tiniest startup all the way up to the tech giants, to answer one absolutely critical question. In this new war, how on earth do you actually win? But here's the thing, if you filter out all the noise, you start to see that there are really two fundamental paths to victory emerging. Pretty much every major move you read about in the headlines falls into one of these two big categories. Let's break them down. But first, before we can understand the strategies, we need a map of the battlefield, right? The AI industry is basically built on a 4-layer tech stack. At the very bottom, layer 1, you've got the semiconductors, the actual silicon chips. On top of that, layer 2 is the cloud infrastructure. Then layer 3 is where the foundation models live, your GPT-4s and Geminis. And right at the top, layer 4, are the apps that we all actually use. Okay, so with that 4-layer map in our heads, the two grand strategies suddenly snap right into focus. Strategy 1 is what we'll call building an empire. That's where you try to control every single layer of that stack. And strategy 2 is forging a legendary sword, where you focus on mastering just one of those layers so perfectly that everybody else has to come to you. All right, let's talk about the empire builders first. The classic textbook example here is Google. Think about it. They design their own chips, their TPUs. They run their own infrastructure, Google Cloud. They build their own model, Gemini, and they deploy it in their own apps like Search and Workspace. They own the entire thing, top to bottom. Now, on the complete other side of the spectrum, you've got the sword makers, and the undisputed champion here is NVIDIA. They aren't trying to build apps or run a cloud service. Nope. They do one thing. They forge the most powerful, most sought-after weapon on the entire battlefield, the AI chip. And every other army, whether it's Google or Microsoft or Meta, they all have to buy it from them. And this is where it gets really interesting, because each strategy has some serious trade-offs. The Empire's big strength is total optimization. Every single piece is designed to work perfectly together. But that creates inertia. It can make you slow, like trying to turn a giant battleship. The Swordmaker, on the other hand, is super agile and has the best tech, but it has one huge weakness: dependency. Its entire fate is in the hands of its customers. So that leads us to the obvious question, right? Which strategy is actually better? Well, to find the answer, we have to look to the past. The great tech wars of history actually give us a surprisingly clear lesson. Over the last few decades, what it takes to win has changed dramatically. Back in the PC era, it was all about price and compatibility. Then, in the mobile era, the game completely changed. It became all about a perfectly optimized user experience. And the AI era, well, that's what we're all here trying to figure out. Let's start with the PC war. On one side, you had Apple's empire. They built the hardware and the operating system, all in one tightly controlled, beautiful box. And on the other side, you had this alliance of specialists. Microsoft built the software, Intel built the chip, and companies like Dell put it all together. And the winner was, well, it wasn't even close. The open, specialized alliance of Windows and Intel just took over. We're talking more than 90% of the market. They nearly drove Apple into bankruptcy. The market decided it didn't want a perfect, expensive box. It wanted a cheap, compatible standard. The sword makers won. Big time. But then, everything changed. The entire battlefield of technology shifted from the desktop to the palm of your hand. The smartphone arrived, and it completely rewrote all the rules of the game. Now, if you just glance at the market share numbers for mobile, it looks like a repeat of the PC war, doesn't it? Android, the open, specialized alliance, has the majority of users. Apple's integrated iOS has less. You'd think, yep, the alliance strategy won again. But here is the brilliant twist. This is the punchline. Forget market share for a second and look at the profit share. Despite having way fewer users, Apple's integrated empire captured an unbelievable 80 to 90% of all the profits in the entire industry. They lost the battle for users, but they completely won the war for value. So what happened? How did the empire's strategy, the losing strategy of the PC war, suddenly become the hands-down winner? The answer to this is the key to understanding, well, everything about strategy and tech. The lesson is this: neither strategy is inherently good or bad. Its success depends entirely on the battlefield. When the game changes, the winning moves have to change too. It really all comes down to this. In the PC era, the battlefield was all about price and compatibility. So the cheaper, more flexible alliance won, of course. But in the mobile era, the battlefield shifted to optimized experience. People wanted smooth touchscreens and batteries that lasted all day. Things an integrated empire could deliver way better than a fragmented alliance ever could. Okay, so let's take this incredibly powerful lesson from history and apply it to the AI war that's unfolding all around us today. What's the winner's equation for this new era? This right here is the multi-trillion-dollar question. What is the AI battlefield? Is AI going to become a commodity tool, kind of like electricity, where price and compatibility are everything and the specialists win? Or is it going to be an optimized service, where performance and user experience are king, giving the integrated empires the ultimate edge? The truth is, the giants out there aren't just betting on one strategy. The lines are already getting super blurry. You see empires like Microsoft wielding a legendary sword by partnering with OpenAI. And at the exact same time, you see sword makers like NVIDIA starting to build out their own mini empires by offering cloud services. This points to what is probably the new winning formula: a hybrid model. It's not about choosing to be an empire or a sword maker anymore. The key seems to be developing an untouchable specialization core, being the absolute best at one thing, and then using partnerships and integrations to expand your reach and cover your weaknesses. So the next time you see a headline about a big tech deal or a new product launch, you will have the map. You can ask the right question. Is this an empire building its walls higher, or is a sword being sharpened? By understanding these core strategies, you'll see the future of AI not as just pure chaos, but as a war with rules that you now understand.